Like, I'm certainly hoping it's going to record up.
Well, it just said the broadcast is live, so we've got that going for us, which is
I'm
nice.
making sure that it's recording a separate audio too, just to make sure. Okay.
Awesome.
But yay, we're
live.
We are live.
Hey, your kids
Okay,
here.
Here we go. This would be our intro, and then we'll just go live after this.
The White Tower and the great city of Tar Valon stand as the center of power for the graceful Aes Sedai. While the sun shines in the light of day, the Aes Sedai heal the sick, negotiate peace, and give hope to the masses, all with the dignity and decorum of nobility. But once the sun goes down, when it's time to wind down, everyone gathers at the Thirsty Tinker. What happens in North Harbour stays in North Harbour. It's time for Tar Valon After Dark.
I wish there was a way to fade that, but
I knew you would. I was also.
I like dancing and just not knowing when we're going to cut to live. It's good.
It's an adventure.
What? I mean, what if I continually just do this? Sorry, I figured that would get Jess going if I did that.
Oh God, I don't know why I find that so funny. Oh God.
Brian's like, I hate you. Please stop.
No comment. No, it's a funny face. It's funny.
Oh.
I just do it to mess with Jess.
It's funny to see Jess laugh. I enjoy it.
The light illumine you, and welcome to Tar Valon After Dark. My name is Jess, the Emerald Seat, and I'm here at the Thirsty Tinker, Tar Valon's most disreputable inn, located in scenic North Harbor. Welcome back. This is our fourth show, which would make it a quadruple banger, I believe. Today we're having a visit from Adelaus and Vandine. We are going to get a really informative history lesson from them. We are getting a visit from the best glee woman in Tar Valon, Belladonna, the busty bard. We're going to play some Wheel of Time Mad Libs. We're going to talk about all the news on the TV show Friend as Nameless does the news. And then with our main topic today, we're going to start talking about our favorite moments from the books. But first, let me introduce my partners in debauchery, Nameless and Recapa Sedai. Hello, my friends. Hello.
Hello.
What up?
Excited for the 4th episode.
Yes, I'm very excited for what we're doing today. It's going to be fun, per usual.
I mean,
I can't believe we're at the 4th.
I know.
3 of these, yeah.
I feel like we're like hitting our stride with this too, because I'm having a lot of fun. It's like, you know, because you both make content. Normally, it's like all on you to make sure you do everything. And what I love about us working together is like I don't have to feel like I have to do all of it. So
I love that too.
Showing up and you guys did your stuff and I did my stuff and we're like, it's awesome.
It takes a lot of the pressure off. It really does. Like, you know, Brian writes great commercials. Brian didn't have time to write commercials. I wrote a commercial. Like,
and it's great.
And it was fine.
It's a good
and
one.
It's especially helpful because I love doing this. But right now, I just started a 3rd class to finish my degree. It's a class I have to take for the last half of the semester, and I am like underwater. I am so overwhelmed right now. So I am just so happy that this is something that I can do a couple small things and then just come and have fun. Like, it makes me very happy.
And it is fun. It is
fun. But I know if I were the one posting stuff, I'd be like, I cannot. So I'm happy that we have this dynamic. I'm like, you want to post it? I'll do whatever.
Can you do that one more time? What would you be like?
I would be like, I cannot. I don't know if I did it that way.
I cannot.
I would not be able to.
I'm going to go take a nap.
Yes.
I'm overwhelmed.
I don't know why that's the stuff that I'm always like, I don't want to deal with posting it and getting it up, but it's great not to. I'm loving it.
I thought it would be real cool, real quick, because I know we have like a patron and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do we have one now?
We have a patron.
I think it would be cool.
I think we have a patron still.
Yeah. Well, real quick, we'll cut this part out. But I wrote this in the script, but then I forgot to mention it because it changed it. We should talk about our patron right now, and push Patreon here at the beginning too, as opposed to both at the end. That way more people hear it because they might skip out at the end of the episode. So anyways, we'll
Agreed.
I'm going to come back and prompt that conversation again. Do we have our patron pulled up? Who it is?
I didn't even know we had one yet.
We did. It was one.
I
looked, but
I'm on my PC, so I have a hard time navigating the internet. Here we go. New tab.
By the way, so much better volume. Like,
already, this is just like, it's so nice.
Yeah,
to be
it's like
doing
tons
Zoom.
better.
After using Zoom yesterday, I was like, never again. It's so bad. Oh, because I'm under the wrong Patreon. Log out.
wow, where did we get all those Patreons? It looks like Wheel Talk.
What? Yeah, fast.
Wow, that grew fast.
I was pretty sure that wasn't our number. Oh, shoot. I don't know if I can remember our... Do you want to send me the password in Discord since we're live streaming?
You can just look us up, I think, can't you?
It doesn't give the name of the patron, though.
Oh.
We should have prepared this ahead of time.
Yeah.
You think? Like,
Maybe.
I did, and then I didn't mention it. So, like...
Okay. God, I'm still logging in. I'm sorry. Oh, come on.
I wish that they had Patreon set up like Twitter where you could just really quickly switch between accounts.
Well, maybe we record it after and we just put it at the beginning.
Well, I mean, it kind of should be a part of our conversation. It was like...
no, right. I'm having a hard time.
no, we could just...
Here, let me get logged in.
No, we don't necessarily have to talk about who it is, although I think that would be cool. I was just going to say, I think we should promo Patreon here.
No, and I think we should have a fun segment where we're like, yes, our patrons. I think that's a good idea. It's good to know their names when we do that. I can't find... I'm having a hard time logging in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't log in either.
Oh, no. All right. Fuck. Okay.
This would be an amazing live stream to watch.
Are people watching us?
No.
They're
I
not.
certainly hope not.
I have it unlisted. It's just streaming just to see how the video comes out.
Okay.
I got it. I had it in my last pass.
See, every time I try to log in, it automatically goes to Recappa because I...
Okay, our patron is Liz Story, so we can talk that up.
Oh, hey, Liz Story. She's a Wheel Talk patron, too.
Okay.
Okay, so...
All right.
So anyways, I was going to say, I think we should shout out our patron,
Yes.
Liz. Thank you, Liz.
Yes. Definitely. For those of you who are not aware, we do in fact have a Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/Tar Valon After Dark. And we just got our very first patron, and we're really excited. Thank you for your support, Liz, and welcome to the Thirsty Tinker.
And congratulations on being the first. That's like status. Well done.
Yeah.
Work, Liz. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Since the Thirsty Tinker, do we call our patrons thirsty?
I don't know, because thirsty means like desperate, right? So do we want to go there? What if they're
like desperate and like horny, right? So I mean,
thirsty, lusty? Yeah.
I mean, doesn't
Maybe
that...
we'll have to think about what like our
well, I guess
Tar Valon
we
After
shouldn't
Dark viewers are.
we shouldn't refer to them as being thirsty, is what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there might be other.
I mean,
words.
I don't want to assume the level of horniness, you know.
Right.
I like that take.
The
on
level
thirsty.
of thirst, though, can be different, but everybody's
Yeah.
got some thirst, right? I mean, okay. Anyway, thank you, Liz, for
You,
joining
Liz.
us at the Thirsty Tinker.
Work,
It's really
Liz.
cool when people like what you're doing enough to spend their real life money to support you. We want to keep doing this for a long time, and anybody who chooses to support us, we love you. We've got what we think are some pretty cool perks that we can't wait to share with some people. So.
And it's exciting to have someone as we're getting started. It's nice to
Heck
have
yeah,
our
it
first.
is.
That's,
Yeah,
you
it really
made
is.
our
After
day.
4,
Yeah.
like,
Kicked us off.
and I
Thank
mean,
you.
every little bit helps because we need to keep the lights on here at the Thirsty Tinker. So
Mhm.
having folks help us do that really, it always humbles me when
Yeah.
people want to like contribute to my Patreon. I'm like, really? Me? Okay. I'm not going to question it, but I'm whatever.
Well,
Like,
thank you, Liz. And thank you to all of you who plan on subscribing and supporting us right after this episode. I know it'll probably be 200 or 300 of you. We do have $1,000 a month tier for any of you who feel so inclined. I'm joking.
do we? I was like, wait, I don't remember talking about that.
Like,
That's ballsy.
Bold
We're
move.
looking for a wealthy patron.
Bold move by the nameless.
Jess's face. It's too bad if you can't watch this on video. Her face was looking at me like, we do?
Which you can watch if you join Patreon.
Yeah, that's true.
And like,
Join Patreon to see
I don't have
Jess's
a
face.
problem with it if somebody wants to give us $1,000, but I was like, wow, did I miss that conversation?
Anyway,
I know that I've got a lot going on, but Jesus.
Okay, well, we got a good show. I'm excited.
Samesies.
Absolutes.
So now let's have. I always forget that I'm the one who's supposed to do these segues.
Look at you like,
I'm like, somebody else is obviously in charge, right? Now let's have a visit from Adelius and Vandine.
And now, a history lesson from Adelius and Vandine.
oh, that's me.
Ha
I'm here with historians Adelius and Vandine Sedai. Today we'll discuss Arthur Hawkwing in the untold story of his advisor. We remember Hawkwing as a great conqueror and king, but these two claim there's more to the story.
Oh, yes. History remembers Hawkwing as a fearless hero, but he was sensitive. During his time, Hawkwing couldn't figure out why everyone hated him.
He often asked people in the nations he conquered, why don't you like me? And then people would say, because you murdered a ton of us, you stupid fuck.
Hawkwing had an image problem, so he did the smartest thing he could have. He hired Publicista Sedai.
Publicista was a Grey Sister who was often hired as an advisor. Publicista Sedai was a Grey Sister who, Jesus Christ, on sale at Target. Publicista was a Grey Sister who was often hired as an advisor. She was a genius.
Publicista Sedai could fix any reputation, no matter how much of an asshole her client was.
So Publicista changed Hawkwing's brand. Instead of calling him stupid fuck, she got everyone to use the phrase High King.
She convinced the nations that their friends and family hadn't been murdered, they had been liberated.
After his son Luther crossed the Aerith Ocean to Shaunchan, Arthur Hawkwing was nervous. He'd fixed his reputation and he did not want Luther screwing it up.
Hawkwing told Publicista, go see what my son is up to, and if it's anything bad, cover it up.
So Publicista travels to Shaunchan and meets with Luther.
She advises him how to get away with using the Adom and Damane, which was stupid, but she was serious about her job.
Then Luther had her collared, and that was the end of Publicista.
That's what you get for working with the Shaunchan bitch.
Seriously, who does that?
Anyway, that's why we remember Hawkwing as a heroic conqueror and not an asshole murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it. This has been a history lesson with Adelius and Vandine Sedai.
That one was dark.
Yes, it was. But I like it.
I like it.
It got dark.
We'd have to pull up I don't have the intro pulled up for the Belladonna the Busty Bard, but I think it came out pretty well, right?
I loved that. That was me, but
It's like trying to make
so.
it like bar patrons and shit. And
it felt different from the other ones, which I liked.
No. Well, pretend that just happened and
Okay.
just get ready to go. Whatever you do.
Greetings, my drunk and rowdy and kind of stinky friends. I am Belladonna, the Busty Bard, and this night I will be telling you the story of the time Randall Thor and Matt Cawthon pissed off some white cloaks in Bearlawn. Once upon a time, Randall Thor and Matt Cawthon were in Bearlawn because they were running away from Trollocs and shit. Rand was having a really weird day. He got freaked out by this woman named Min who could like tell the future or whatever. And then he ran into this peddler that he thought had gotten eaten by Trollocs back in his hometown. And then he ran into his friend Matt and he's got a super bad headache for no apparent reason. Matt noticed that Rand was being all spacey and was like, what the fuck is going on with you, dude? And Rand's like, I'm getting a cold or COVID or some shit, probably. And Matt's like, we'll get you some chicken soup or whiskey or whatever when we get back to the inn. And they wander the streets of Bearlawn for a while because these bucktooth hayseeds have exactly no idea where they are going. So they're walking along and they see three dudes walking toward them. And these fuckers look fancy as hell. They have shiny cone head helmets and white cloaks and are completely unblemished, which has to be some kind of witchcraft because I don't know about y'all, but the minute I put on something white, some kind of something gets on it and wrecks it. So anyway, these white cloaks are walking along looking like their shit don't stink, and everybody else in the street is aggressively avoiding eye contact with them and did they get the fuck out of the way? And Matt was like, do you think those are children of the light or whatever? But he said it really loud because he has absolutely no chill. And somebody walking by looked at him like, shut the fuck up, dude, and hightailed it right out of there. And Rand figured he must be right and thought he should probably be afraid of them, but he didn't feel shit. And Matt was like, I don't see what the big deal is. They look like they have their heads up their asses. Let's fuck with them. And Rand was partly like, ooh, bad idea, and partly like, fuck yeah. So Matt climbed up through somebody's attic window, because of course he did, and got up on the roof. And he took out his fling and shot a rock at the stick that was holding up these barrels near where the white cloaks were walking. And the barrels broke free and rolled through the mud down the street. And even though the white cloaks managed to jump out of the way, their fancy white cloaks got all covered with mud. Matt was already long gone from the roof, and Rand could not help himself. He started laughing at these fools being all daintily pissed about their fancy cloaks. And one of them was like, you got a problem, dude? And Rand was like, And the white cloak was like, well, you did this, right? And Rand shows off his sword and was like, accident, man, sucks to suck. And the guy is like, oh, you want to fight? Then another of the white cloaks is like, pump the brakes. He's got a bird on his sword, so apparently he's a real badass. And the first guy is like, my ass, where are you from? And Rand's like, I just got to town. Do you know a good inn? And it's like, holy fuck, where did this sass come from? And he feels all tingly and shit, and he's gritting and just waiting to see what they're going to do, which is totally out of character for this kid who is really a big Poindexter nerd. And the first guy, who is apparently called Bornhald, is like, bitch, when the children of the light ask you a question, you'd better answer. And then the other guy's like, yo, and they turn around to see the town watch showing up. Apparently the town watch and the white cloaks didn't get along in Bearlawn because the white cloaks just shut the fuck up when they show up. And Bearlawn is like, you haven't seen the last of me, dark friend. I will avenge my fallen pretty cloak. And they stomp away in a snit. Rand is still just chilling, waiting to see what's going to happen and feeling like he was so full of something that he was going to explode. And Matt finally came back and was like, dude, you are fucking nuts. And that's coming from a guy who caught a badger and put it in a fucking bag. And that is the story of the time Rand and Matt pissed off some white cloaks in Bearlawn. I accept tips in cash only. Hitting on me is not a tip. Don't talk to me unless you're going to give me money or beer. I also accept tips in beer.
Yay! Marvelous. I lived. That was marvelous. Well done.
Wow.
Love Belladonna.
I was really happy with the last part. That's coming from a guy who got a badger and put it in a fucking bag.
Oh, Belladonna.
Yes.
That is my favorite segment we do.
Yes. It's here.
So, yes, I thought I would let you know. Okay. I think we can play some Wheel of Time Mad Libs.
Yes.
Are you excited to play some games? Oh, no.
Always.
What's the game song? This is the time where we...
Oh, yeah, we have one.
So, Jess...
It's game time.
Yeah, we're just going to say it's game
time. That we play games.
Play a game.
So, okay, this time I'm running the game.
Duh.
I'm running the game. Duh. This time I'm running the game, bitches. Here we go. Right. We are going to play some Wheel of Time Mad Libs. So both of you have played Mad Libs before, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you who are not familiar what Mad Libs are, it's basically like you take out certain words from a story or a description, and then you have people, without them knowing the story, give them new words to fill in. So if it's like an adjective, I'll say, give me an adjective, and they'll give me one. Of course, and then you read it back and it sounds funny. But of course, if you're little and you did Mad Libs, the funniest part of it was when you did like really inappropriate things in place of it. Wasn't like fork. You would pick dick or boob. That was what was funny, right? So
Uh-huh.
here are the rules of this.
Which is funny,
right? Here are the rules of this. Nothing boring as hell. You have to pick funny stuff.
Do you have to pick something like dick?
Just say dick for every noun, okay? That also works as an adjective. I'm joking.
And a verb.
And a verb. Dick. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very versatile. Dick.
Okay.
Brian is just like, really?
I'm curious. Well, no, I'm curious to hear what we're working with. I'm curious.
Well, you can't hear the story yet.
Right.
We're going to start with the first one.
Is it a Wheel of Time story?
All of these are Wheel of Time stories that I wrote.
Okay.
Little descriptions and stories.
So we don't need to make it a Wheel of Time story with our answers.
No.
Okay.
It already is. You are.
We just have to say dick.
Okay. Yeah. Say dick whenever I ask.
I can do that.
Okay. Okay. Adjective.
Shittily.
Shittily. Doesn't really totally fit, but we'll go with it. A noun.
It's Mad Libs. What do you want from me?
A noun.
An adjective
fucker.
is a descriptive word, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What was the noun?
Fucker.
Fucker.
Change mine to shitty.
Shitty.
I'm bad at parts of speech.
Okay, that works. Another noun.
Butts.
Butts. An adjective.
Yeah.
Gassy.
Gassy.
Mm-hmm. And another adjective.
Erect.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm trying to be like
another adjective. I like it.
God, so many adjectives.
Yeah.
Farty.
We're going with the gassy here. I think thirsty's good.
No, okay, fine.
Or okay, we got farty. I don't think that's a word though.
fart thirsty.
Fart. Okay. Oh God.
That's going someplace that I just do not want to explore.
Okay, a verb. A verb.
Yeah.
Blow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay,
You started it, bud.
I know, but this is great. Okay, I can't wait to read this. Verb.
I'm not good at this. Strip.
Ooh.
Yes. Ooh. And lastly, one more verb, and this story is complete.
Balefires. Well, I mean that as a verb. That's probably more of a noun.
I mean, it could be
I keep wanting to do a Wheel of Time thing. I keep overthinking this.
Yeah, you don't just any verb.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Okay.
That one's a good one. Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
This descriptor, and I'm going to put this on the Great Blight as a. We're going to put this in place of the description. This is the Aiel people. Here we go. That's the title of this. The Aiel.
Okay.
The Aiel people are known to be very shitty. They are great warriors, and they use fucker to fight in battle. There are 12 clans, with the Butts clan being one of the fiercest. All of the men of the clan are gassy, and the women are erect.
The women are what?
They are erect. The women are erect.
Okay.
They live.
Right.
They live in the Aiel Waste, which is super fart thirsty. The Aiel Wise ones are women that blow the sick. Oh my God.
Wow.
They blow the sick. They strip the clan chiefs, and they have the ability to fuck in people's dreams.
I like that. They do.
They
do.
That's true.
That is true.
Accurate.
They can do that.
Yeah.
They can do that. Oh God. Okay, so that was a good start. I think that was a good start. Here we go. Let's do our next
We're
one.
off and running.
Off
Yes.
and running. We need a noun for this one.
Sweat. No, I keep doing Wheel of Time stuff. Sweat.
Get your head in the gutter, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
A noun. Sweat.
Yeah, sorry, verb. Now, verb. I didn't say.
Verb.
Slap.
Hmm.
That's good.
Okay. Another verb.
Choke.
Squish. Oh, choke.
Another verb.
Squish.
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 Noun.
Harness.
Harness.
I'm just letting Brian go. This is a great shit.
I know I'm on a theme here.
I need a verb ending in ing.
Swinging.
Swinging. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Noun.
Big old dick.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Adjective.
Purple.
Hmm.
Sorry, Jess. I don't mean to like take this over.
by all means.
Adjective. Adjective. Jess. This
You're
one's
killing it.
adjective. Adjective. This one's you, Jess.
Now I'm stuck on colors because Brian did color. Climbing.
Climbing. Climbing is not an adjective.
Well, it is if you're talking about vines and stuff. Okay, fine. Yeah, I just said a word.
Mountainous.
Mountainous.
Mountainous, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I failed you. I failed you all.
And lastly, a noun.
Foot.
I like foot.
Okay. This one is going to come across, I think, a little bit more like a 10-year-old that did this, but here we go.
I don't know what you're saying, but
I don't know a 10-year-old who knows anything about harnesses.
Genius answers right there.
This one is titled Wolf Brothers.
Okay.
Men who are able to speak with wolves are known in the world as sweat. They have the ability to slap with wolves, something that most people don't understand. As a result of this, they can choke wolves, but also they can access the wolf dream. In the wolf dream, they can squish like a harness or even go swinging with the wolves in the dream, which that can be kinky.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that has a double meaning. Paranabara is a wolf brother, and Fail is his big old dick.
Ha ha ha.
Kind of frames the whole story.
Yeah.
Paran named his dick Fail.
Fail's his big old dick.
Big old dick.
I'm Perrin, and this is my big dick Fail.
Perrin is very purple and very mountainous. But he is also a foot. So there we go. That was the description of Wolf Brothers.
All right.
We have our last one, and you guys need
to
be especially inappropriate for this one, I think. Like, I think we need to
right.
go all in on the gutter for this. All right, here we go. Verb.
Fuck.
All right, I like it. A noun, location noun, like a location.
Brothel.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Another noun.
Gay bar.
Ah, yes. This one will work. Adjective.
Stinky.
Mm-hmm. And verb.
Thrust.
Thrust.
Thrust is good.
Noun.
Ass
Vulva.
cheek.
Vulva.
Or vulva.
Vulva. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm good with ass cheek or vulva. Those are both.
Okay, I need an adjective.
Filthy.
Hairy.
Sorry, what was the first one?
Filthy.
Well, I said hairy. He said filthy.
Harry's good. I like Harry. Go Harry.
Harry it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I need a verb.
Suck.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm laughing reading these. These were funny. Okay. This one's good.
I'm curious.
Noun.
Ass cheek. We can do ass cheek for that one.
Ass cheek. Yeah, we still haven't used ass cheek, which is a crime.
Yeah, ass cheeks are great.
Mhm.
Verb.
Ride.
Ride.
Oh god. Adjective.
Ask for it.
I did, and you guys are gonna love this. Adjective.
Filthy.
Filthy. And a noun.
Smut.
Smut. Oh god. An adjective. Last one.
Moist.
Moist.
There we go. People
Perfect.
will love that.
They're
People
gonna love that. I hate that I said it, to be perfectly
Okay,
honest.
here we go. This one is titled The Aes Sedai.
Ooh.
The Aes Sedai are a group of women who can fuck. They live in the brothel on the island of Gabar. In addition to being the center of power, it is also where they keep their most powerful objects. For example, the stinky Tirangrial that enables them to thrust a vulva.
That kind of works.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's a Terangrial that, yeah.
There is also the hairy Tirangrial that allows the channeler to suck themselves.
That worked very well.
Okay.
Good God.
That's one they would actually make.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The most powerful of these objects, though, is the ass cheek. With this, the Aes Sedai could ride. It is very important that these filthy objects be kept safe from smut to keep them safe. Otherwise, people might be moist.
That was good because we were so consistent. We were so on brand throughout.
I mean, it
Yeah,
worked.
that
right?
really worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Came together.
that has been Wheel of Time Mad Libs.
Good for us.
Well done. Well done.
Good for us
Genius
indeed.
storytelling.
I mean,
We're amazing.
Someone published that.
I think we need to.
Amaze.
I'm going to hold on to these. Okay.
And now it's time for Nablus Does the News.
News. Okay. All right. I have two news stories. This is a little lighter of a news week because we had like a bigger one last week, but there are two main stories we're going to talk about. They both seem small on the surface, but I think they're good for a springboard for discussion. So the first piece of news is WhatSeries.com, who, if you guys don't look at WhatSeries.com, that's where all of the news goes. But they are reporting that there are two locations that they found out that Wheel of Time was filming at. If you're not aware, most of the Wheel of Time filming has taken place in the Czech Republic, in and around Prague. But they have found two different locations. So one in the Canary Islands, and then another one in another place in the Czech Republic. Actually, no, I lied. It's a place in Croatia. I'm sorry, called Dubrovnik. Now that's like on the ocean, so it's like pictures of that are like all over the ocean. And then in the Canary Islands, it honestly looks a lot like the Isle Waste. I'm gonna go ahead and like see if I can share this on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
And y'all can't see it, but Brian's and my eyes got so big.
There we go. So
Oh.
look at these pictures. So like that is right there.
Wow.
So that's the Canary Islands one right here, and then down here is Dubrovnik. Now, when I look at that Canary Island shot, like my first thought is Isle Waste.
Yeah, that's the dragon wall.
Yeah,
Didn't
like,
they? Yeah. They told us, though, that we would only get one IL character in season 1, right?
right, which I don't know what to think of that.
Right.
But there you go. Like it kind of looks like it. I mean, it could be maybe the Blight.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they're going to go to the IL Waste, I can't imagine a situation of doing that and only seeing one IEL. That's hard to, but it could be. It looks like it.
Now, the one on the coast obviously, I don't know that it's like filmed on the coast. Maybe that's just part of Dubrovnik. I don't know too much about it, but like these are, like you can see that's very Mediterranean looking. So I'm trying to think of like what would that be?
Beautiful.
I don't know what that would be.
Abu Dar?
I mean, it's possible, but why?
I mean, it's too far away into the story,
right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, I guess we'll.
But that's actually what comes to mind as far as something on the water, right?
Yeah. That, or it's Ilion, or maybe we're seeing, Falma. Who knows?
God, it's gorgeous.
But it is gorgeous and makes
That's
me
a great picture. Yeah,
so that makes me want.
I mean, I think the other thing to consider is that just because they're filming someplace that's on the ocean doesn't mean that we're going to actually see the ocean. Because it could very well be that there's something there, like a cathedral or some shit like that that they want to film in.
Sure. No, I agree. So that's interesting to me because they do have some different filming locations. I love where they keep up with this because they were also able to kind of track. If you read the article, they're talking a little bit about they can't figure out which actors were there. Because one of the guys that's playing Aram, Daryl McCormick, talked about it, but he wasn't present at that filming location. So he talked about the Canary Islands one.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently the Tinkers weren't there. So that eliminates something from it. The other piece of news for us to kind of to talk about here real quick is Wayne Yip. This is something that we already kind of knew, but just got confirmed basically by Amazon. Wayne Yip was one of the directors. He's famous for directing Doctor Who, like the BBC show.
Nice.
And he was tapped to direct 2 of the episodes of Wheel of Time. We kind of knew that from not necessarily leaks, but people doing some researching from before. So we kind of knew that, but Amazon never officially confirmed it, and they just did because they mentioned that Wayne Yip is also going to be directing some of the episodes of the new Lord of the Rings series that Amazon is producing. So he is going to be. Yeah. Now,
yes.
Here is what I thought might be worth talking about. Let's first ask. I want to ask this: are you guys excited to watch the Lord of the Rings series? Like, are you going to watch it on Amazon?
I'll probably watch it just because I'm such a slut for Tolkien. I'm interested to see what they're going to do since they don't actually have rights to apparently any of the actual story from what I'm reading. So, you know, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I imagine I'll at least give it a try, but I'm a little baffled by that whole thing. I do not understand what they're making because I'm not interested in seeing a show about the Silmarillion. The only story in Lord of the Rings that I'm really interested in going through is the Lord of the Rings, and I already have a good version of that. So I don't really know. I'm not saying it'll be bad or anything. I just don't know what to expect, I don't know what to be excited for. Yeah,
my understanding of what it's going to be is based around Numenor and the Second Age. So when Sauron was like after Morgoth has been defeated, but when Sauron was still actually a body, and before the rings were made. So like the fall of Numenor, and that's kind of if you aren't aware, if you're like trying to fit that in and you're listening to us, Aragorn, like the kings of Gondor, were Numenorians that just left Numenor before it got sunk into the ocean, right? So, like that's why they lived so long. But the actual Numenorians from way back in the day would live to be like 500 years old, and there was like a super advanced civilization. That's supposedly a lot of what this is focused on, but outside of that, we don't know a lot. And that's
all. Is it the rise of Sauron?
It could be.
Because that's interesting. I actually would be interested in that. That's one thing they could do that I would be like, because I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan in the sense of I'm not one of those folks who can recite stuff. But I like them. I just don't know that I would. Yeah, no, I love them. I mean, you have to be doing this, right? But I think it would have to be something exciting for me to. No, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes.
According to Wikipedia, it says it's set in the Second Age of Middle-earth, thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. The series follows an ensemble cast of characters as they confront the re-emergence of evil in Middle-earth. And I mean, that's got to be...
Yeah.
It's got to be Sauron.
But see, at that time, if you know the lore, Sauron wasn't like the Dark Lord that he is now. What he was basically like, what did he call himself, Jess? The Lord of Gifts.
Well, it would be cool to see the story of why and how the rings were forged.
But see, that happened later. That happened later.
How could it?
Well, and I'm wondering if that's what.
I mean,
that's how they're gonna look at, because like, if memory serves, Morgoth was defeated, and Sauron, who was kind of like his right-hand man, either went down with him or went into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically disguised himself to come back and hang with the elves. And they taught him all of the shit, like making jewelry and stuff like that. And that's when he forged the rings for like the 9, the 7, and the 3. And basically deceived them.
But he also went to hang out with Numenor. He's the one that convinced the Numenorians that they could sail to Valar, right? And that's actually why they sunk the continent, because they tried to overreach. But again, now we're turning this into a Lord of the Rings podcast. But I love Lord of the Rings. I don't love it as much as Wheel of Time, but I do love it, and I'm going to watch the show. I don't. Daniel Green talked about this in one of his videos, and I think he was dead on with it. I think at the very beginning, I think Lord of the Rings will have a bigger following than Wheel of Time will. But in terms of longevity, I almost feel like people are Lord of the Rings'd out in terms of the story. And this isn't the familiar story that most people have. Whereas Wheel of Time, to a degree, is going to be very fresh. It's a finished, like, they're not doing any... Yes, they're adapting it, but if they're going to be taking a second age story, which is barely mentioned in the Lord of the Rings, you know, what do you call that? All the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be making up most of that story, whereas Wheel of Time is a pretty solid story that they're just adapting to the screen. So I think in the end, Wheel of Time will probably have the most longevity. I know that the show is planning on a long time, just from knowing that they're planning on some long,
I mean, if they're going through a 14-book series, they've gotta.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And so I'm excited for that. So that is the news, guys. That's the news for this week. Hopefully we'll have some more next week.
That's exciting. Sorry, I know we're done now. I don't want to.
No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think we didn't mention Game of Thrones, and I just think we're always looking for since that ended, we're always looking for the next Game of Thrones, or the networks are. And I think that kind of can't be Lord of the Rings, because we've already done Lord of the Rings so much. I do think to an extent, it's just been too much a part of the culture already to be the next phenomenon like that. And I think Wheel of Time is well poised to be that. Not to compare it to Game of Thrones, they're different, but as far as being a cultural phenomenon, I think Wheel of Time is the one that's the best poised.
Yep, agreed. 100% agreed.
Same.
Well, I think it's time to film a commercial.
Yes.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Who wants to read this?
Oh, I assumed Brian was going to read it.
Brian?
I assumed you would.
I mean, I can.
It's up to you. You wrote it, so I wanted, like, if you would like to, it's up to you.
You wrote it. You decided.
You want to know what? I did my story, so why don't you go ahead and read the commercial?
You go.
Okay.
Brian?
You read them. You read them so good.
Let's see.
I love the way you read them.
Thank you. Okay. This is fun. I liked this. Sorry, it's just out. Yeah, okay. Spring is coming to the Two Rivers, and that means one thing. Your roof is a fucking mess. Sen Bowie is the premier, and by that we mean only Thatcher in Emmons Field. With over 70 years of experience, Master Bowie offers no warranty or guarantee of quality, but it's probably better than climbing up there and sticking various flora to your roof yourself. Stop by the common room of the Wine Spring Inn from sunrise to sunset to make your appointment today. Tell him that you think Nynaeve is a shitty wisdom for a 10% discount. Roof Thatching by Sen Bowie. You'll take what he gives you and you'll fucking like it.
Oh, that's great. Oh my god.
Well done on writing that, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, that was
lovely.
That is great.
Yeah, it's definitely time we did a Sen Bowie thing. That was great.
I think I love that. That's great.
I thought, seasonally appropriate.
Yes. I love it. It's spring, and that means your roof is a fucking mess.
We have a
Fucking
main
mess.
topic today that is going to take us a while to get to, I think.
To get
And-
to?
to get through, right? Like,
Well, this I think we could do the first part in a reasonable
well, I'm just
amount of
saying
time.
I was saying that for the purpose of the show.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just messing you up for the purpose of
No, it's
We're
cool.
me
gonna
being a
fuck
dick.
everything up.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited to talk about this, but I'm also like dreading it because like putting together this list, I made a video on this and I went back and I looked at my list and in my video and I'm like, I don't like my list anymore. My mind has changed in the year since I've made my list. So I remade my top 6 here, and I think we're
Nice.
going to get through our 6 through 4 today, right? Because we're doing a top 6 here. I mean, we'll have to finish that up. But I had a lot of trouble with this, and I feel like I could argue myself out of any of these that I've already chosen.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about your lists?
It was hard for me too because first of all, I have kind of a bad memory. Secondly, I've only made it through the last half of the series once, so I know there are a lot of things that I don't remember that if somebody reminds me, I'm going to say, oh shit, I want to put that on my list and take this other thing off. So, I basically just went through like the major things that I remembered that I really liked and kind of sifted through those. At the end of another read through, I will absolutely end up changing my mind. I'm positive. So,
gosh, I'm already looking at my list now and already changing my mind. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love that. Oh, I think it's fun too that like, we have it set in our heads. This is my favorite part. And then you revisit the series and for whatever reason you feel differently. That's my experience every time I revisit the series. But for me, I find like my top 3 are actually the easiest. Like I know my top moment of the series, and it's the bottom ones where I'm like, if I put this on the list, I'm knocking out this major thing. And so it was hard to pick these 4, 5, and 6 ones. My top 3, I think, are pretty set. Although there are some moments that I can't believe didn't make this list, which just goes to show how good these books are.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there are some things that I'm like, I can't believe that's not on my list, but I can't fit it.
I've just switched a couple.
He's rewriting as we speak.
Like, I'm like, nah, I can't leave that out. How can I put that in? How can I leave that out?
Wasn't this your idea?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to start because I'll change my mind again if I don't.
No,
I'm going to go with number 6. So
Okay.
this actually, I just changed this because I felt like this has to be in there. Now, my number 6 moment is when Nynaeve gets raised to full Aes Sedai. Okay,
Wow.
so if you remember, I'll recap the scene real quick. She goes through this like horrific testing where they like beat her up and she channels and she does all this stuff that she shouldn't know how to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they challenge her a lot. They basically make her say, you need to walk real slow and keep your Aes Sedai calm and let people die, basically. And she at the end is like, fuck that. When she gets out, she's like, I did the thing, but I would never do that again. She's like, if it means that I have to stop caring about people to be Aes Sedai, then fuck being Aes Sedai. I'll do my own thing. And to me, here's why I love this moment. This is Nynaeve's character development coming full circle. She is now sure of who she is. And now she's a bad bitch, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She's very insecure throughout the series. She wants people to finally respect her. She wants the title of an Aes Sedai so that people look up to her. And so she, parades as one and carries herself as one. And this is finally the moment where she's like, you know what? I don't even care.
Yes.
I care about people.
Yes.
That's who I am. And I don't really care what you think of that.
Yeah.
And I love that moment because then Egwene turns to these sitters who want to fail her, right? And she's like, are you really going to say the woman who healed Stilling, who cleansed Sidene, who's going to go with the Dragon Reborn to the last battle, you're going to tell her she can't be an Aes Sedai? I love that moment.
Yes, absolutely. Well, but I also love that she kind of schools Egwene too. I almost don't like that Egwene says that's the Aes Sedai because I feel like part of Nynaeve is saying to Egwene, she's like, if this is how the White Tower, operates, like you can't help people because you're too dedicated to the tower, then you need to check yourself. And it's an amazing scene. Yes. And also, fuck those women. How dare they?
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think it's a really great example of the White Towers, like, insularity and prejudice. Like, they don't like Nynaeve because she's a Wilder, and they don't like Nynaeve because she has a strong personality and is resistant to basically the way they break a woman's spirit when she comes to the tower. And they don't like her because she's like the most powerful Aes Sedai in however many billions of years. And so it's just absolutely childish of them to say, well, because we don't like these things that you are, we're not going to let you in our club. Like, you can just like someone and still respect their capabilities. And in this case, they're so fucking petty that they can't be like, okay, we really don't like you for a lot of different reasons, but you are pretty awesome. So yes, okay, here's your shawl. You know, it's bullshit.
I can't even believe I was going to leave that out of my top 6.
It's really good. But
I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
well, it's
Okay.
like how much?
Wait,
yes.
she got raised? Oh yeah.
Yeah. We wait
All
so
right.
long for it.
Brian, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Dumai's Wells. I play around with that, but I think it has to be on my list if we're doing top 6. It's a great fight. You know, I love the fights in the Wheel of Time. I think Wheel of Time does particularly magical combat in a way that I enjoy more than any other fantasy series. And Dumai's Wells is a turning point as far as what these books offer us in magical combat. And it stayed with me. I remember reading it. I love the excitement of, oh my God, this many channelers. And it's just an exciting, wonderful way to end that book. And I love Dumai's Wells.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing to imagine what was being described.
Yeah.
Like trying to visualize, like, I don't know how you guys do when you're reading, but when I'm reading, I'm kind of trying to visualize in my head what something looks like.
Mhm.
And just trying to visualize that in my head, it was amazing and disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's gruesome. I mean, I'm going to, not to give anything away, but I'm going to talk about this one another time. But it is disgusting if you really actually read what's going on. Like people talk about there not being any gore in the Wheel of Time. There are heads and bodies literally blowing up. Like,
who talks about that?
And there's gore that happens before Dumai's Wells. Are they reading the same books? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But like that is pivotal, and I'll give my more reasons for that later. But yes, I love that.
I feel extremely trepidatious about watching Dumai's Wells.
Yep.
When it happens, I don't know how I'm going to get through it. And unlike Game of Thrones, like I stopped watching Game of Thrones because it was too gory for me. I don't like blood and violence that much. It affects me. And so, you know, with this show, I don't have a choice. I have to. Like, I do stuff for this now. So I don't know how that's going to go.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, on top of the battle itself, it changes so much about the series, that fight. Like, it really changes the dynamic of the Ashaman and the Aes Sedai. It changes the dynamic of Rand and the Aes Sedai. And we see for the first time that, like, these Aes Sedai even can't stop the Ashaman. Like, they're very limited. And it shows us so much because, like, they're limited in how much they can attack. The Ashaman are not. And it just really starts to change how we see the channelers. I love it.
Yep. All right, Jess, number 6.
My number 6 is Matt losing his eye to save Moiraine. That one stands out for me because it's such a pivotal moment in his storyline where the man who is no bloody hero, the man who doesn't want to put forth any effort to do anything, who insists that he doesn't want to help, actually literally loses a body part to save somebody that he never even really liked that much to begin with, because it was the right thing to do and it was necessary. And I think it's just a great culmination of his story arc.
Yeah. And he saves Moiraine, which is pretty cool too.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, and it's finally a time where a lot of the prophecies start to make sense. Like, one of the things that Time does so well is they drip these prophecies early on and they pay most of them off later, but it takes 11 books for you to find.
Yeah, by the time you get there, you don't remember that Min had a vision where she saw, and when she looked at him, that said they had, like, what was it, an eyeball on a balance, like on a scale?
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
which I love that Robert Jordan planned that far ahead. I just love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how.
It's one of the best parts of the series is how that stuff just folds out.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering how it's going to fold out too. Like it's so exciting to get to those moments.
Well, just while we're on you, let's hit your number 5.
My number 5 is Nynaeve breaking her block.
Nice.
Ooh.
Folks have had some very interesting discussions about kind of the problematic nature of women needing to submit in order to reach their full power. Like there are implications there that are a little bit ooky, but I don't know. I just think it's a big, scary moment, honestly, because she has never been able to break her block. She like scrabbles for every bit of everything. She works so hard, and then she's in this literal life-threatening position, and you're like, well, obviously she's going to fight it. She's fighting for her life. She's never going to be able to like let go of everything and like embrace the source the way that she needs to. And then she finally does it, and it's just fucking epic. She like fucking blows up shit, whatever, and it's amazing. And I also love that Lan goes in after her because like I just ship them so hard.
I love that it's also Mogideon that causes, like, in trying to kill Nynaeve,
right,
stronger again.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mogideon literally just can't catch a break. Like she's literally the most inept of the Forsaken, or at least the worst luck. Like she's just gets
bad luck
every time.
Yeah. I love Nynaeve's block. I think it's a beautiful part of the story. It's so relatable. And it's so exciting when it comes down. I will say, I don't like that Lan pulls her out because I feel like she totally saved herself, like got out of there. And then it had to like Lan saved her. I'm like, she saved herself. So I that's the only thing about that scene. I'm like, did he need to be there? Because I wanted that to be Nynaeve saving herself. And I felt a little bit like Lan took it away from her because it's such a cool moment when she gets out of there. And I felt like that's the thing that I always think about. But I love the moment.
That's an interesting like assessment of it. The way that I look at it is she did the bulk of the work herself. She did the heavy lifting. She broke the block. She got out of like whatever. I don't even remember. Was she trapped in something? She was trapped inside something. She broke the block. She got out of it so that she could get out. And then Lan was there. It's not reasonable to expect that the man who is in love with this woman isn't going to go in and try and save her, because for all he knows, she's not going to be able to break her block and she's going to drown, right? So it's reasonable for him to be there. And then I look at it more as she did the heavy lifting, and then he was just there to help at the end.
Sure.
And it's sort of an illustration that, even when you're a super badass, sometimes you need the support of the people who love you. That's the way that I looked at it.
I like that.
I may be over romanticizing it because I ship them so hard. So
it's interesting to talk about. I like hearing your perspective on that because it just made me feel certain ways when I read it. But I like hearing that. That's interesting.
I think it's a part of their arc together, though. Like I don't think it's just Nynaeve's arc. I think it's also a part of their relationship that Lan saved her. Right? I don't know.
It's true because he was really kind of still resistant to the whole thing. And then maybe that was that moment that he had gone
after her
of like being her warder.
He was sent to find her. He wasn't resistant to being her warder. He was taken by Morel, but
he was taken by Morel, honey.
That was a whole thing. Like I get it, but also that's like a whole other episode.
He was sent after her, and he finally found her. And I just feel like it's this culmination of the two of them that couldn't be together before and kind of are now.
Like all the obstacles are finally broken down in that moment.
What about you, Brian? What is your number 5?
My number 5 is The Cleansing. And the fact that this is number 5 on my list says a lot about how good this story is. But The Cleansing's fucking great. Like compared to Dumai's Wells, it's more exciting for me because it's all channelers. There are no Aiel in the way. Like it is all of the Light's strongest channelers versus the Shadow's strongest channelers up to that point. And on top of that, you get these really fun pairings of Varen versus Grendel and Olivia versus Sindane. And you, at the same time, you're cutting away to what Rand and Nynaeve are doing, which is so cool and epic from both of them. And I fucking love the cleansing.
That's another one that I forgot about. That I love that it was kind of guerrilla warfare, like shooting lasers at each other through the trees and everything. Like that was fucking wild. That was a good one.
It's such a good fight, and the stakes are so high.
It's the one of the moments in the series I actually like Cadsuane, because she's sort of like Rand is like, here's what I'm doing, here's what we're doing, we're going here, and then she's like, all right, here we go. You like she starts putting everybody together, and and she's kind of like, yes, she's arrogant, but she's kind of badass.
She was like 100% in green mode.
Yeah, I want her
100% in green mode at that moment.
Yeah. It's fun to see that too. We don't get those moments of like, all right, I'm agree. And she also like, Adalorna kind of lets us down. She's someone who steps up and is like, no, I'm a fucking green and I know what I'm doing. And I didn't realize there was so much hate for Cadsuane before I tapped into the online theories on my first read. I don't like Cadsuane's relationship with Rand, but it's moments like this where I'm just like, hell yes, sister, get it. I love her here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't hate Cadsuane completely because of the cleansing and a couple of the things she does.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love the cleansing. It's one of the casualties. It's not on my list, and it should be. And I feel like there needs to be more than 6 spots for this list because.
Welcome to our 15-episode series where we talk about our top 800 scenes.
Moments from. I could do that. I really could.
Oh yeah, it's
like I could do that anyway.
It'll be part of the fun, as we'll realize as we go how we messed up on our own list.
So
we'll revisit again in like 3 or 6 months and see what's changed.
That's fun. Yeah.
My number 5 is Egwene saving the tower from the Shan-Chan. So
really?
It's one of my favorite Egwene actually I have a lot of favorite Egwene moments. This is, I think, like the moment where she goes badass. Like she just gets pissed and she's got this PTSD already from the Shan-Chan. And she's like, oh no, I don't care if I have a trickle. Novices, get over here. And links all the novices. She starts to show herself not only as this emotional manipulative leader, but a badass leader who's going to take charge when everybody else is running away. She goes and grabs the sangreal, which, by the way, why did no other effing Aes Sedai think of that? Like,
thank you.
None of them do it.
Why don't they have some kind of plan, some kind of system for like when something like this goes down, we all go to the storeroom and take this shit,
right? Because like she just goes and gets
hubris
or a sangreal, and then she just starts kicking ass, like almost like mythologically kicking ass, like knocking them out of the sky, like right and left, and it's like. Okay,
and
you taught her, Shan-Chan. You taught her how to do this,
right?
Now she's
exactly what I was going to say. The poetic justice of her turning around what they forced on her to take them the fuck out. Like
it's also it's so beautifully earned, perfectly set up. Not just the fight in the hole in the tower, but her leveling up to get there is incredible. Mm-hmm. But I also love when she's there. There's a reference to the Shan-Chan couldn't touch her, save by a full circle. And the Shan-Chan didn't use circles because the Adom prevented it. Right. And she is just standing there doing what only she can do, destroying these people. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Love it.
Well, I also love the additional layer of, she was the Amyrlin in exile. She's in the tower being suppressed because she claims to be the Amyrlin seat. And in my mind, she is the Amyrlin seat. And when everybody else fucking hides and runs like a bunch of fucking dicks, the Amyrlin seat steps up and defends her tower. And she's like, this is my fucking job. I'm the Amyrlin and I'm going to save this tower because it's my fucking job. And it's just like, yes, queen, get it. Like,
you're right.
It's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think about it as the moment she destroys the Shan-Chan, but it really is the moment she becomes the Amyrlin.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my number 4 because we already mentioned it, so I'm just going to hit on it real quick because I think we're done with 5s. My number 4 was Dumai's Wells. and it on my video it was number 1, and now
Really?
it's number 4. I have different reasons for dropping it, but because I just like the other scenes, I think better a little bit more in hindsight after making the. I mean, I've read the series more than 30 times now, and I still like change my list all the time. But what I love about Dumais Wells, and there's parts of it I don't like there's parts that I guess in out of context are kind of cringy when they're like kneel or you're going to be knelt, women, like that kind of a attitude.
I don't know. I thought that was badass.
Well, it's out of context. It's not in context. It's flipping the, hey, these people have been arrogant and have been trying to dominate and manipulate. And guess what?
Yeah, it's flipping the power dynamic.
Yep, that's over now. We're not doing that anymore, and we're not messing with that. And that part is kind of cool. That kind of like, I don't like the idea that it's these men making these women kneel, right? Like, because
right.
But what I think changes from Dumais Wells on, right? I think it is a turning point in the Wheel of Time. Yes, there's gore and yes, there's battle beforehand. Nothing on that scale of destruction, right? Like literally an army of 100 channelers destroys 50,000 Shido. Okay, like blowing their bodies up. Okay, they start, Rand stills Aes Sedai busting out of a box and then just goes round one by one, shielding and knocking them out. Shield, knock them out. And then you get this scene at the end where they're all rounding him up and he's like, no, you guys are going to kneel. I'm sick of being manipulated. You're going to do what I tell you now. Now, again, you can argue with whether Rand was right in doing that or not, but that moment in the series is a turning point. It's a turning point where battle will never be the same again, right? Battle scales are never the same again, okay, in the series. You have capabilities now that people had never thought of. Like traveling is all of a sudden, it's gone from being a little thing that a few people, like now it's this big thing. And you have the Aiel taking over, teaching the Aes Sedai, which frankly, the Aes Sedai do learn things from the Aiel. Even though that's sort of a bondage type scenario. Like, I think it's such a big turning point, and it's so well built up to. Okay. Yeah. One of the things Robert Jordan, I think, does well in his writing, you can argue with pacing sometimes where it's a little slow. But he is so good at building up to that one big moment in his books. If you think about Great Hunt, where they kind of all end up at Falma, and then it's like, boom, Dragon Reborn, they all end up in Tyr, and then boom, right? This is one of those moments where all the things finally align. We get everybody in the same place. Perrin shows up to rescue Rand and like almost sacrifices himself and the Two Rivers men. The Asha men show up. Like it's this whole gigantic battlefield, and then it changes warfare and it changes the world forever. And Perrin is throwing up watching it happen. Like literally vomiting on the battlefield because it's disgusting. Rand can't take it anymore. Like he's like, stop. I can't look at this anymore. Like that's how bad it was. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for the show needs to nail this, in my opinion. This needs to be a Red Wedding style moment, in my opinion, for the show. I know Jess doesn't want to see that, but I think it needs.
Oh, no, I agree with you 100%. No. You can't not do it. That isn't something that you can like allude to off screen. It has to be seen. Yeah.
It just changes so much, and I feel like we need to have the impact of that. So that's why it's the only reason it dropped from my number 1. Yeah. I do think it's instrumental, but like I said, I feel icky a little bit about one of the things that's great about the Wheel of Time is putting women in positions of power and then having this moment be the time where it's like, oh, not anymore. Like,
right.
I don't know how.
Yes.
I totally don't want to make this seem like women better be subservient to the men now. Like, and I don't totally think that's true because it's they're serving the Aiel women.
Yeah.
But yes, it's
a little more complicated that they are Aes Sedai and that that Aes Sedai imprisoned Rand. Like that. Yeah. That makes it understandable, not justifiable, that Rand is is like that way in that moment.
Mm-hmm. You can absolutely understand why he did it.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting.
And I never read it as a gendered thing. Like they didn't say kneel or you will be knelt because you are women. It's kneel or you will be knelt because you're a bunch of meddling Aes Sedai who are not gonna fuck with me anymore. I've just been in a box for 2 weeks, so just fucking stop it. It's I feel like he did a good job of making it not a gendered thing. It's like this is a Dragon Reborn versus Aes Sedai thing, and it would have been the same regardless of the genders of the people involved. You know what I mean?
Yep. Totally get it.
What he should have done was have all the Ashaman swear on the oath rod and then have them do it. That would have been a smart thing to do.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
Well, what's your number 4, Brian?
I am surprised. This is my number 4. It started at the bottom of my list, and I was like, I can't put that. I got to move that up a little. I got to move it a little higher up. My number 4 is Moiraine tackles Lanfear through the doorframe ter'angreal. One was so fucking good. I remember where I was when I read it. I was lying in bed. I remember sitting up, holding my breath. It's so... Nablus was talking about how RJ is so good at building up to these finales. Fires of Heaven is kind of weird because we have this Lanfear confrontation, and then afterwards there's the stuff with Ravine. For me, this is the climax of the Fires of Heaven. This is that thing we've been building up to. Because for really 2 books at that point, we get so much foreshadowing that Moraine's going to leave us. We pretty much know it's going to happen. She basically tells Lan. And we know something's coming, but to get to that part where it switches to her POV, and it's like she had seen this so many times, but now she's finally here. It feels like so many things have come together for this moment to happen. There's even a reference about she climbs onto the wagon and Lanfear doesn't notice because Moiraine was a slight woman. And I get my life from that because I really that's not luck. That's the pattern. And it's such a cool way for Moiraine to leave us. And I grabbed this real quick because this sentence gives me chills every time. Wow. The Forsaken had an instant's warning, enough to turn before Moiraine struck her, clawing the bracelet away. Face to face, they toppled through the doorframe ter'angreal. White light swallowed everything. I just get my fucking life. That's a great fucking ending to a character.
Well, and absolutely on brand for Moiraine too, because she is blue to the core. She will do anything for her cause. Her cause is getting the Dragon Reborn to the last battle. And if she has to sacrifice herself to do it, she will. And she doesn't hesitate.
Yeah.
It's just so on brand.
I feel like it's the perfect combination of a thrilling moment and a really sad moment. It's hard to lose her, but it's interesting, and it makes it really I don't think anyone reads that and is like, oh, Moraine's dead. You read it and you're like, what the fuck happened on the other side of that doorframe? And it's
because we know that you don't die on the other side. We know.
Right. Well, and it's just, there's so many questions when she goes through, which is so typical of Moiraine. And it's a great, I love that POV. I love when she takes her down. She took down Lanfear. She took down the worst one. And didn't even use the power.
She just literally tackled her bitch ass through a door.
Yes.
And there's another layer to that too, where it's amazing and it's sad, but it's also frustrating because Rand's hang up about women is what made it so she had to do it. He refused to kill Lanfear because she's a woman. And so Moraine's like, okay, fine, I guess I'll do it, idiot.
It's crazy.
That part, I have a lot of feelings about Rand's whole thing, and this is not the time or the place for it. So we'll talk about that later. But there is a layer of frustration there because it didn't have to be that way. But Rand has this weird thing about it. And she's a Forsaken. She's literally trying to kill you. She's trying to kill you. Kill her back.
Yeah.
Self-defense, my dude. Yeah.
He just watched her torture Avian Henegway, and he's just like, oh, but she's a woman. I don't want to hurt her. Like, come on. She doesn't have that problem.
Out of here.
You fucking idiot.
Well, Jess, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Aviendha going through Ruidian the second time.
Ooh, this is fun.
Yep.
I think it's really interesting because, we know what happens going through the first time. We get the Aiel's history, and nobody knows what happens if you do it a second time. And then we go in there, and she's like badass, like maybe she'll die. Nobody knows, but she goes in. And then we get this whole potential future of the Aiel. And it's so interesting because it gives you all of this opportunity for speculation of, what might happen when everything is all over. And I just thought that it was extremely cool.
Yeah. Do you think was the future because it was just that she went through the second time, or do you think she did something to the ter'angreal?
I'm not sure. I've only read that part one time, so I will have to read it again to be able to say. I was always working under the assumption that like you go through a second time and it shows you something different. Well, you know, maybe it always shows the future. Maybe it shows something different based on what you need or something like that. Like everybody who goes through Ruidian the first time is going for a specific reason. Men are going because they want to be clan chiefs. Women are going because they want to be wise ones. And everybody needs to have the same knowledge in order to do that. So they say they see the same thing. But the second time, anytime anybody goes in a second time, they need something completely different, right? Yep. So, you know, I'm not sure how it like decides what to show you.
There's something, I mean, I think it's a Mies who goes back and tests it to make sure that she has the same experience. But I've read theories, they talk about like kind of a resonance while Aviendha is there. And given her talent, I've read theories that like, maybe it's because it was Aviendha and she changed something about the ter'angreal, which I think is interesting. I don't know how where I land on that, but I was just curious if you had thoughts on that. Love these theories.
What I've heard about what I kind of read into that was exactly what Jess said, because they actually kind of talk about that. I think it's Bear that goes, not a Mies.
Okay.
Yeah, but what they say is, I think we think that it shows us what we need to hear, because it showed what they needed to hear the message from the first time they went through about the past. Well, now the past is less important because the last battles come. What they need to know now is the future.
I love that answer.
Right.
That's nice.
And so it tells them what they need to know through the eyes of their ancestors. And
I like that better than Aviendha, like hitting the on-off switch to future.
Right.
Yeah. Whoops. Shit. Guess we can't use this the
press
same way
Press 1
anymore.
for past, press 2 for future.
But I love that.
I fucked it up.
I love that that's on your list, because I'll just shut up. But I like that moment.
It's a good call. Yeah, you both picked really fun ones. This is fun to see.
I'm actually happy we didn't all like have the same ones this time around.
Yes, me too.
That's been kind of exciting here. We actually got different ones, and I can't wait to talk about my top 3, which will probably change by next week.
I'm glad we split this up though, because there's so much to talk about with these, and they're good parts. Like
they are.
Yeah,
I feel like I could make a top 20 Nynaeve moments.
Yeah, just Nynaeve all by yourself.
I've done 10. Yeah.
I
did top 10. Yeah, it's not hard. Yeah. Like I had to leave things off, and people would comment like, "How could you leave this on the list?" I'm like, I don't disagree that that's amazing. It just didn't make the top 10. Like that's
nuts.
You're like, I know, right?
I know.
Well,
I haven't done it with Rand because that's a character I actually don't think that video would work for. I can't just write 10 favorite Rand moments. It's too complicated.
Got a couple good Rand moments. But we could do that.
I feel like they're all too tempered by something else. Anyway, that's another conversation.
Yes. Well, Jess, on you, I think, for our last.
Nameless, I need you to tell us about your obsessions.
Obsessions.
Oh, obsessions.
Yes. Okay. So I feel bad about bringing this obsession up because it's sort of tangential to one that we already did, but it's kind of what I've been paying attention to. I'm loving in a very different way than I loved WandaVision. I'm loving Falcon and Winter Soldier now. Why I keep getting sucked into these. Like, I honestly would rather watch these Marvel TV shows than the Marvel movies. I feel like this is their best storytelling. I mean, you get so long to tell these stories now. And here's what I like. So if you guys, have either of you watched it?
I've watched the first one. I wasn't able to watch the second one yet.
Okay. I will not.
It is, here's what it does. Like what the MCU is typically lacking is really character development of any type, because it's boom and things blowing up and us doing this cool thing and all that. Like that's typically MCU move, which when I'm in the mood for that, I love it. Right. It quenches a certain thirst and then you move on. The Falcon and Winter Soldier started off with this like really deep character development, and you're getting depth in characters that you did not have it in before. Like you see it without, I guess I'll talk a little spoilery here. Like in the first episode, you see Bucky going through PTSD counseling and for all the things. Like these are fairly deep moments, and you see them talking about like Falcon, like his sister and him being broke, like being an Avenger doesn't make him rich, and you know dealing with the aftermath of this blip where they come back 5 years later and life has moved on and now where do you fit? Like those types of themes, like WandaVision explored in a very different way, obviously, as a very weird approach to storytelling, but was really cool. This is obviously a little bit more leaning into the Jason Bourne style, like, of Marvel, right? Like that's the Captain America Winter Soldier story. But I'm liking where they're going with these TV shows. And I think there's such an upgrade over the movies. And I like the movies. Like, don't get me wrong, I like them. But I just feel like TV is it's the golden age of television. Like the storytelling that you can pull off and the budgets that these shows are getting now. Like the special effects in Falcon and Winter Soldier are nuts for a TV show. Like,
I mean, honestly, they're just as good as they are in the movies, and you don't see that on TV shows.
You're literally thinking that you're watching a full-length movie, and it's just a 40-minute episode. And I
always end up being surprised when it's over. I'm like, oh, right, it's just a TV show. I feel the same way about it, and I think that what's really great is that Marvel is taking advantage of the format to be able to really dive into story in a way that you just can't in a 90 or 120 minute movie. And they're doing a great job with it. Like, I don't know who these writers are, but they're fucking crushing it.
Awesome.
And I think it's a really interesting way to like ramp up and prime everyone for whatever movie situation is coming next. It's I really enjoy it.
To me, it's such a positive trend for television because, I mean, I'll even think back in my Wheel of Time fandom. Way back, I mean, if you go back to 2000, there was talk of turning Eye of the World into a TV miniseries or a movie. That was what the discussion was about. And I remember thinking in my head, I don't want a TV show. That would be so low budget. I want a movie because they'll actually get a budget for it. Like, I remember thinking that.
And at that point in time, it was true.
Right.
But now, I mean, with the budgets that these television shows are getting, and
fuck movies, man.
Right.
If I were
you tell a better story
and the time you need to tell the story, like,
right,
it's no brainer.
That's if I were a writer for television or movies, right, I would be loving this because I feel like you actually can get storytelling out. Like Daniel talked about the Snyder Cut, and obviously the Snyder Cut was better for a lot of reasons, but when you get 4 hours to tell your story rather than 2, you're going to be able to tell a better story. I think that's, you're always constrained a little bit by time sometimes, but they
probably should have released that as a miniseries.
They should have.
I mean, it would have been, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a whole other discussion, but I love that trend because I like better storytelling and I like being able to see more. And people could argue that about the Wheel of Time. It's too long, but I like the length of the Wheel of Time. I like
me too.
I like Crossroads of Twilight. I do. I like the story, the world building that's going on, even though not a lot happens. Right. So anyways, that's what I'm obsessed with right now.
I was so compelled and excited about WandaVision, but I only watch Marvel because my friends and family pull me into it. And when this came out, it looked so much like exactly the kind of Marvel thing that I'm just not into, which is basically, I'm sick of the male protagonists. I'm sick of it. They're all the same to me. I don't really relate to male protagonists in these superhero movies. It's only the women. And when I saw what this was, I was like, I asked my husband, I was like, do I need to watch that? He's like, you won't like it. But it's partly because that's just not my upbringing. I don't have that comic book background and I'm missing that. But something like WandaVision felt so different and exciting. Like, I don't feel like I was watching a Marvel thing anyway. I was just watching a show I liked. But
it was absolutely something that could stand alone without.
I'm biased against this. I'm biased against this because I'm just like, I'm turned off from the Marvel stuff. I don't know. I'm over the Marvel stuff.
You're a hater. I get it.
I am a Marvel hater. Except for WandaVision, I'm kind of a Marvel hater.
Are you going to watch Black Widow when the movie comes out?
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Because I without getting into spoilers, there are 2 female protagonists in.
I love that
Winter Soldier. So just saying, like, it's not the title of the show, but there's going to be 2.
Well, and I hear like with Black Panther, we're going to be getting more stuff from those female characters. I love those women so much. I think that would be such a cool way to spin that off. But yeah, I don't really feel like there was ever a movie with a female protagonist that really put focus into creating a really good story. I include all of them. I
Yep.
never seen one, and so for that, I feel like they still haven't gotten that right.
I
So
agree.
I'm just kind of like, I don't need to watch this other one. WandaVision. They got it right with WandaVision.
Yep.
And I love that, but that's just, I don't know. I'm marveled out.
I get it.
Fair.
I'm just in for the storytelling medium being a different one, and
Yeah.
Marvel being able to give their characters some depth rather than just being explosions and boom and spectacle.
Yeah.
To be able to do more than that, I think is good storytelling. So that's my obsession. But
Yes.
that's a good
I like
episode,
it.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. We did good.
Well done.
Look at us.
Thank you, everyone. Should
Slow
I
down.
close this up? Should I
Go
close
ahead.
it up?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at Tar Valon After Dark. We hope that you had as good a time as we did. We're going to have a new episode dropping on Monday, and make sure that you follow the show on Twitter at Tar Valon Dark. And if you like what we're doing and you want to support the show, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Tar Valon After Dark. Thank you for joining us here at the Thirsty Tinker. Until next time, keep it wheel.
Boom. All right.
Yay!
Yes.
I got a piece so bad. I'll be right back.
Well, guys,
Cool. I can do that too.
Okay, go do that.
Okay.
I'm going to end the broadcast.